Welcome to DilSe Stories. Once again, we have Priyanka Akhilan. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you so much for having me again. Thank
Long
you
time
so
no
much.
see.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So, hey, congratulations! You're out with your second song.
That's right. Yeah,
Tell us about it. Tell us about the title and where can one find it?
yeah, for sure. So the song is called Kanna Varuvaayo. It's in Tamil language, just like the first one. But this one's a full Tamil title in Tamil. The song is, let me just tell you where to find it first. So it's on all the streaming platforms. I think it's slowly coming to some of the ones that aren't already available, but the way you can grab the links are in obviously my socials. So on Instagram or TikTok, it's Priya Kill on both. And the links are in my bio for those, but you can also search Pri capitals on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're going to use. Also, it's on YouTube as well, so you can get it there. Um, but yeah, and just a little bit about the song. So it's this one's a very favorite one of mine. Very semi-classical vibes. So a lot of Carnatic elements, which is obviously the type of music I grew up singing and know very well. So I wanted to make a track that really had those elements in there. So it uses authentic, South Indian instruments like the mridangam. So that's the percussion you hear, and the flute, obviously. And the reason why there's flute is because the title Kanna Varuvaayo in Tamil it just means it's like dear or love, will you come to me? That's what it's saying. And so another name for so kanna it's typically a term of affection, means dear, but it also refers to Krishna, Lord Krishna, who we all know plays the flute. And so when I was making this song and I came up with this initial idea, I was like, it just has to have flute. I think it just made sense because of the whole Krishna metaphor and allusion. So the way we wrote the lyrics is actually there's a big reference to Krishna as well throughout the song, but the theme of it is the idea of like it's kind of like a lullaby type. So the way we wrote it is actually inspired by my little sister, who's a lot younger than me. So I often see her as like I'm sometimes her third parent, but sometimes I'm also like her peer. So it really depends, but it's about that kind of like that care and that protectiveness that you have for someone, and so it's kind of like a lullaby, kind of calling them back to you. And so what I want to do with the song is make it an allusion to Yashoda and Krishna, so the mother to son relationship. So that is kind of the vibes of the song. Um, but yeah, a little bit about that.
Awesome. And I'll introduce myself as well. I'm Parag Bharadwaj. I'm a physician. So, hey, just an amazing song, right? And quite intriguing with how melodious it is. Um, there are a few instruments, but
That's
it
right.
sounds very simple, and
Mhm.
it's not overly complicated or sophisticated. But the melody is just very soothing, right? And I never
Mhm.
thought of the I think Kanna, what you're talking about in Tamil is probably Kanha in Hindi.
Ah.
Uh, so yeah, so tell us about the tune itself. How did you come about? Is it the same way, with your creativity, just pouring out when you are in the shower, or
Mhm.
uh, where did you come about with the tune, and what was your role in the lyrics, the music?
Mhm.
Tell us about how the song all came together.
Yeah, for sure. So what happened was in my room one day, literally where I'm right now, I was just singing. I literally just sang out Kanna Varuvaayo, and I sang it like Kanna Varuvaayo. That's what I sang, and exactly that way. It's very like the intention was to make it very Carnatic sounding. You can hear the gun like that riff at the beginning or run. And I was like, I want to make a song that like starts out very Carnatic out of the gate, kind of scares people a bit, and then like it's like, and then you hear a very nice melody, and I'm like, and so I want to make it very Carnatic that was already in my brain. So I sang that, and I was like, okay. And then of course I went and recorded a TikTok. So I made a video actually of me singing that just to see what would come of it. I actually never ended up posting that video. It was in my drafts. I just left it in there because I didn't like how I sang it. But that got me thinking of like how can I continue this melody? And so just like the first song, I kind of developed it through a course of shower sessions, honestly. I was just like playing around with the tune. Um, so yeah, I started with the first thing and then I just came up with the rest, I think, just in the shower. I actually don't remember the like too much in depth about when and where each part of the song was made. I think like um yeah, it honestly was just like a bunch of shower sessions and I wasn't like completely fixed on the tune, but there was like a good amount that I was happy with. And what happened after that, instead of approaching the producer directly, I first started writing lyrics for it because I knew I what I wanted to kind of say. Um, and so the same friend that I wrote Kaveri with, Archie, we wrote this one together as well. And so we were just, writing with that reference to Krishna in mind. And honestly, the song is not that long. It's pretty short. It's much shorter than Kaveri. So it didn't take as long to do the lyrics, I think. I'd already written about the first verse together. We'd written up to the first verse, I think. At that point was when I approached Janssen, who's really like awesome producer. I've seen his work for a very long time. He's actually quite famous, I would say, in the Toronto Carnatic community. So I've seen him growing up. I'd seen him play Murlangam and stuff like that. And I knew he made his own music because I already followed him on social media and stuff. And so I think I contacted him like a couple months before about doing a song. At the time, I didn't really have an idea, so I didn't really pursue it. And then now that I had this idea in mind, I knew I wanted to be classical. I knew he could do it because he had that classical background. I approached him again. I was like, "Will you do this song?" And so I sent him a voice memo with the lyrics that I had, which was not much. It was just the first verse, I think, and then the rest of it was just I was just humming along to it. Sent it to him. Luckily, he liked it enough to be like, "Okay, let's do this." And yeah, so he works really fast actually. So what happened was we wrote the rest of the actually no, we didn't. He started making the track. And so I was on a call with him. We talked about the song a bit. He already had laid down some keys and we were talking back and forth about kind of like what we wanted the sound of this to be like. And I was telling him I definitely wanted that classical element to come with. And Janssen, if you don't know his work, he uses a lot of hip hop drums. He uses a lot of like he combines Carnatic and hip hop a lot of the time, or Carnatic and R&B. So the types of drums and stuff he was using was more like modern. And so I was like, I remember like actively telling him like, no, I want more like classical. So I was fine with it being modern. I wanted a modern twist for sure, but I definitely wanted to retain that classical flavor. So that's when he put some Murlangam on it, and he plays Murlangam like amazingly. So that's his main thing. So he put some Murlangam on the track, and I was like, yeah, this is the kind of vibe I'm looking for. And then within like a day or two, honestly, he finished the basic skeleton of the track. Like he worked so fast, he was already done, and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta like hurry up and finish the lyrics. And so I had that track with me, and then me and my friend kind of wrote in the rest of the lyrics because I already had the tune already fixed by then. So we wrote the rest of the lyrics. Um, and then yeah, we just kind of went back and forth. I just recorded a rough version. He put my rough vocals on it. I heard it, and then I recorded a final with I rented a mic actually. The same time I recorded Kaveri, it was within that same month I recorded both songs on the same mic. So I rented the mic, had it at home, recorded both songs, and yeah, so like it was a pretty quick process, not gonna lie. The song didn't take that long, actually.
How long did it take?
From the time I made the idea in like end of December 2022. We finished making the track. We actually aimed to finish it around March, but we ended up finishing the master around May. Yeah, so I had it mastered by May. But I completely forgot to say, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? Two flutes, who are the flutes on this track. So I had also approached them around the same time. And so during the process of me working with the onset, I was kind of the middleman of all this. So I just connected with them separately, had them send me their flute recordings. So they did one round of flute on it. And they were kind of honestly, I think they didn't want to like take away from me. So they were very like, they were very, how do I say this? Like they didn't want to put too much of the flute in there. And I was like, no, I want more. Like, don't worry, just put more, just go for it. Like, don't even be scared. So then they went and they did more stuff. And oh my God, that ending, that run at near the end is like my favorite part ever. That was the most beautiful thing ever. Like I was like, yes, that's what I want. That's I wanted more. I want gradually more flute as the song progressed. So it started out pretty like almost just nothing, and then as we moved to the chorus, just little shades here and there, and then you have that swara passage in the middle where I wanted them to come in a bit more. And honestly, I was playing with the idea of them doing the whole swara passage. I didn't really want to sing it, but Janssen was like, "No, you just sing it and then have them do some stuff." So I was like, "Okay." And then as the song progressed, I wanted to have pull more and more flute. So by the end, you hear that nice, beautiful run. And so yeah, I was very, very pleased with that. I just love flute so much, so I was so glad to have them on this project. But yeah. Anyway, it's about like 4 or 5 months, I think, for this song. So not as long. Yeah.
Is that typically how long does a song usually take?
I think it depends person to person. Some people can finish songs
Absolutely.
within weeks. I take quite a while. I guess in my experience, it's been a couple months at the very least. Like it's been at least between like, I mean, Kaveri took about a year from like the conception to like actual release. It's was like about a year, but this song was about like 6 months ish, I would say. I mean, there was a gap between when I finished it and when I released, so I don't count those months, but about 6 months. Another song I did was about 3 or 4 months, so it really depends. It also depends what you're working with and how much stuff you need on the song. So I think with this one, because it was instrumentalist as well, they had to find time to record and send their stuff as well. So Janssen was like mostly done his part. I had to record my stuff. Um, and yeah, and Janssen's a very busy guy, so he was actually going on tour, so he was trying to wrap it up as soon as possible. The thing is, I hadn't finished recording my stuff, and neither had the flute, so we kind of just waited. So it took a little longer um, than I think maybe would have been, but it's okay. Like I wasn't in a rush, so it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job because yeah, you do hear the modern beats
Oh
along with
yeah,
the
for sure.
mridangam, and it's just very well done.
Oh
And
yeah.
tell me a little bit more about the part where your voice overlaps with the mridangam. I don't know if it's called the scale or whatever it is. Is they are just so much in sync.
Hmm.
How did that come about? Was the mridangam played first and then you sang on top of it, or did you sing first and then the mridangam uh, came later?
Yeah. So that part, I knew I wanted that to have the Murlingam in it. So I already obviously I made the tune. I knew that that fast part was coming right before the chorus. And I always love a dramatic lead up to the chorus, so that's why. And so I knew that was part of the tune. And I remember when Janssen first made that track, he didn't put Murlingam there. It was just the beats, the modern beats there. And I told him, "Can you play the Murlingam there?" When he first sent the initial draft of the track, I was like, "I want the Murlingam in that part so you can hear that, like that dramaticness." And so he added that in, and then my vocals came after. So we made the skeleton of the track first before I recorded. So I recorded on top of the the drum, and so that's how it's in sync. So he obviously can make sure it lines up correctly. And like the Murlingam is obviously also a pitched drum, so like it has that quality to be able to match a vocal. And you'll hear that a lot in live Carnatic concerts and stuff like that because of the tuned drum. It's not just like playing whatever. So the Shruti will be matching to whatever Shruti you're singing, and hopefully you are singing in pitch. But yeah, it would match. So you can hear that quality for sure. Yeah.
Right, but usually in a concert, the mridangam is taking the lead. The mridangam player is taking the lead of the singer, right? So here the
Yeah.
mridangam got played first, and then you recorded your voice on top of
On
it.
top of it. Yeah.
So you mentioned you rented a mic,
Yes.
and so basically what I'm trying to when I'm trying to put the pieces together, you got the whole music recorded initially, and
Yeah.
then you sang the whole song on top of it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
And
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go on.
And where did you sing it? Because I was just amazed by the quality of the recording. When you start off, there is
Yeah.
an echo to the
Uh,
voice. So who made those adjustments? Because it sounds like you were at home.
yeah, I was at home. Right, like you're right here, like right beside me. So,
Right.
yeah, so the mic I had was a good mic. It was an Neumann, which is a very like expensive mic. It wasn't the most top mic, but it was definitely a good mic for sure. My first time using it, but I kind of love it. It takes the high tones very, very well. But Janssen is the one who mixed it up. So he has a lot of experience with audio engineering and stuff like that. So he mixed it. He adds this like really nice like reverby type sound, and I love reverb personally. I just love I love hearing that like nice surrounded sound. So he did all of that, put all those he did the pitching and putting that stuff in. So he did an amazing job making me sound cool. But yeah, that was all him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So, I was just wondering, how long are your showers?
They're pretty long. I don't know. I get distracted sometimes, to be fair. I do get distracted. Depends if I'm thinking of a if I start making a song melody, there's a good chance I'll be in there for a good 15, 20 minutes at the very least. But wasting a lot of water, that is.
Yeah, no, I was
But
just thinking, your parents were probably like, hey, the water bill keeps on going up.
I know, I know. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like sometimes I'm not in there to make a song that day, so it'll be quick, but if I just start singing something, there's a good chance I might be in there singing, trying to piece the rest of the song together. I honestly was just in there like an hour ago, just trying to make a new melody. So that's what was happening. But yeah.
So, it's interesting. There's a state of flow, right? When you just
Mm,
get into, in sync with your creative self. And
mhm.
it's interesting that you're literally in the flow when you're in the shower, right? And
Oh yeah.
and that's where all the creativity comes out. So, let me ask you this. You do have this is not your full-time gig, you do have a full-time job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you are at work,
Mhm.
if perhaps you're in a boring meeting, does the music start playing in your head?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. It was funny because yeah, my office is pretty quiet. I sit in a pretty secluded part as well. And I remember like if I get ideas, I will go off to the side and like record them into my phone. I've done this everywhere, like even public, outside. Like I remember one day I was at this like park with my friends. We were kind of a beach day kind of thing. We went to it's not really a real beach, but it was just like a park. We were just waiting for my friends to bring the car over, and I got an idea in my head. I started like humming something, and I was like, wait, I need to like put this in my voice memo. So I just went to the side, started recording it. So I do that quite from time to time. Sometimes I'm just recording into my phone. Nobody says anything. I don't know if anybody notices, which is fine. But I have done that. Yeah. It's just to record everything, capture it before I forget it, because that's another thing of mine is like I'll come up with a lot of ideas, but I forget a lot of them, to be honest. So to retain one and like keep onto it and to keep building, that's my struggle. So especially when you're in the shower, because I don't have my phone with me. So I have to like run outside and like recorded it in my phone before I forget what I sang. So yeah, it happens though. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like you could be doing something and all of a sudden uh melody just crops up, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it sounds like the subconscious is constantly working in a
True. I
in a
guess
in
so.
the music mode, right?
Oh yeah, like I guess. I mean, I don't like that's the thing. I don't think much about it in terms of I find when I think too much about the way a melody is supposed to be, it sounds I don't know. Like in a way, sometimes it's good because you don't you want to do it correct. Or like for example, if I'm using a specific raga, I want to stay in the correct raga. But I found with a lot of my originals is like I'll come up with an idea and just let it just come out of my mouth, and whatever comes out ends up being what I do. And I do tweak it, so I do have multiple iterations of the same melody that I can make. And you can experiment with rhythms and experiment with the way you play with stuff, and it changes even more when you write lyrics because sometimes what you want to say doesn't exactly match up. So I'm known to like tweak a little here and there, like and if it can be tweaked. Um, but yeah, I found when I don't think about it too much, that's when it really feels good. Like that's when it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me in terms of like that's what should come next. Um, so yeah, I honestly it's weird. Like I don't give much thought to it
Yeah,
when
yeah. I
I'm
think
making new
sometimes
stuff.
when you try to think too
Yeah.
much about something, it ruins it, right?
Yeah,
And in your
exactly.
case, it
Yeah.
just comes naturally.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm a little lucky then. I don't
You're
know.
gifted. Yeah.
Nah.
So so let's just look at your role with this song. You
Yeah.
composed it, you came
Mm-hmm.
up with the tune.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The
Mm,
lyrics I work with my friend.
right.
Uh, yeah. So that's always a joint thing. So far, there's only one song that I wrote like majority of it, and then he just kind of spell checked it. But yeah, all the songs so far have been like we sit on calls together and like write the lyrics out. So that's always with my friend. Very lucky to have him. And then the music, so the sorry, like the production aspect was all Janssen. He did that, and the flute, obviously not me. Yeah, so
Yeah, it sounds
very
like a lot
grateful.
of the reason why I'm asking is like I'm
Yeah.
trying to convey to you and the audience is you're not like you're multifaceted. It's not
Mm.
just that you come in, you sing the song, and you just walk out, right? Uh,
Oh yeah. I mean,
you contribute a lot to your songs.
oh, thanks. I mean, I guess you kind of have to with your when you're doing music independently. I mean, I assume it's obviously very different if you're like a playback singer. You just have to you're kind of the contractor. You just come and do your part and you can get out, right? But that's kind of what I like about doing independent music because the whole project is mine. I get the final say. I get to direct it and steer the ship. I kind of feel like a project manager a bit, which is kind of what I do in my real job. So it's like, but this is like a fun project. Like I actually wanted to make a song, so it's yeah, it's definitely a fun experience for sure. Like getting to be the one that's has the final say and driving it and knowing what you want. So that's pretty cool.
You stole my thunder because that was going to be my next question with team members involved, who gets the final say, right? You have
Mm.
a composer, you're creating the song. So in the end, they all have to work to give you the final product the way you want it, is what I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm also pretty picky, so I feel kind of bad. Like for like Janssen, I gave him a lot of notes actually for the song, and he's like, "I've never received this many notes before." I'm like, "Oh," but like it's just like I don't know. I can hear like little things. Like I try to listen as carefully as possible. So I just want to make sure it sounds exactly right. And honestly, in every single song, I can still hear like things I would have done better, like little mistakes here and there. But like, at one point, even Janssen's like, they're not like, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, okay, I'll leave it. But yeah. So for sure, like I don't know, I do have a bit of a perfectionist mentality, so that definitely is a bit of a double-edged sword. But
Yeah, I was going to ask, but you said it.
know.
So, what's next? When is the next one coming out?
Next one will be I'm thinking like October, November. I've been doing like 2 month gaps kind of thing, so just trying to wait a little bit. Definitely it's gonna be my last release of the year though. So after that, no more for the year. We'll do more next year. But yeah, that one's the Carnatic rock fusion song. Which is actually supposed to be my first song. It's the first one I wrote. It's called Porume, which means patience in Tamil. So it's a bit darker, I would say. Well, not like super, super dark, but it's definitely darker than these last two songs that I've released. So I feel like these have both been more like summery type songs and like a little bit lighter, but that one is like more like hard hitting rock Carnatic. So I've always liked that fusion aspect. I grew up listening to a lot of bands like Agam. There's also Thaikuram Bridge. Like a lot of these, a lot of them are from South India for some reason. I don't know, but they all do like Carnatic rock fusion. I find that classical music and rock music have a lot of similarities because with electric guitar, for example, it bends and it's like you can do like gamakas and stuff like that you do in Indian classical music. So I think it works really well. So this track that I made next is one of the ones I spent a lot of time making that track actually. I worked with a producer here in Toronto. And it's probably the most involved I've been in the production process because like there's a lot of things that he didn't know. He doesn't know anything about Indian music. So we kind of really brought our two worlds together. And so a lot of the little aspects of the guitar stuff you hear, like it's stuff I told him to play and we just kind of figured it out together. So very excited for that one. Um, but yeah, so that's coming in a couple months. So yeah.
Look forward to it. And is there a vacation in order?
Not really. I mean, I actually took like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to work on new music. So not right now. No, I'm just kind of in that mode where I'm still in that promotion mode right now for this song and also for, coming up for the next songs. And I'm trying to make some songs for next year. So I'm trying to just get all those ready and done. So definitely in a working mode right now. through to the end of the year. So no
Talking
vacations right
about
now.
promotion, how has the reception been to this song?
I think it's been okay. It's a little TikTok has honestly the TikTok views have been a lot lower. I think for everybody across the board, I've been noticing. So last time I got a lot of boosts from TikTok. So I'm trying to like, for me, it's more like it doesn't really matter what happens right away. Like sometimes it's always a delayed response. Like I don't really care. So it's more like just being consistent with like putting out stuff, and I don't want to be too like, oh, go stream. Like it's not like that. But people have been really, really kind. Like especially on Instagram too. I think it's reached a lot of people that follow me. So they've been super, super nice. And I've got a lot of really, really sweet messages about the song. So yeah, it's been really nice. So people have been finding it, I think. So I think it's good. It's still early to tell. It's only been a couple of days, but yeah, so far it's been pretty good. So yeah,
Well, wish you the very best, and we look
thank you
forward
so much.
to having you back when you release the next one.
All right, for sure.
All right.
All right,
Uh, we'll catch up again soon.
all right. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.